Now, the good thing is when you're working with me, my team of people, they are mandated by me that our borrowers have 24 hours to get us those documents, or they're going to treat them like they're a pit bull. They're going to go after them and they're going to stay on them until they get it for us.
So are you ready to buy a house? You got your loan approved, we're ready to shop. Home buying's got a couple steps involved. You've got to write a contract, it's got to be accepted, you got to have some monies, lots of money. And we're going to try to give you a couple of tips so you kind of understand a little bit about the succinct process of being able to purchase a home. So number one, you got to be familiar with the contract.
Yes, you do.
It's only say 40, 50 some odd pages, right?
That's right.
Because you've got your 1 to 4, your third party, your lead-based paint, your IABS, your HOA docs, the list goes on and on and on. You got wind, coastal weather, you got all of these documents.
That's right.
Okay, so my advice is read the contract way before you ever find the house you love. Okay, so that you're familiar. You understand what title policy is, what your escrow money is, what your option money is, all the things. Plus, you're going to have an appraisal.
And the time, the dates, and everything else that you have to fulfill that go into that contract.
Time is of the essence.
Time is of the essence, and understanding it is very, very crucial. Absolutely.
And it's kind of funny how they calculate it, because if I execute today, the timer actually only starts tomorrow. So some of the dates are actually a little bit skewed to normal timelines that we would think of, the way that it's calculated. And you want to be able to make sure that you've prepared for all the money that you're going to need outside of your down payment. So your down payment is your initial cash asset, and that gets you in the door. But to be able to own that door, you've got to be able to have your earnest money, which is typically 1%, your inspection money, which is $5, $6, $7, $800.
Correct.
That inspection is going to go over the structure of the house, the roofing, the plumbing. It's going to go over all of your major components as far as appliances, AC, top, front to back, to see what's working and what's not working. And that's good. You want that inspection to be able to prepare you for repair cost. Maybe that roof is kind of old.
Maybe the electrical doesn't work so well. Maybe the boxes are completely outdated. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into that inspection outside of scaring the living bejesus out of people because of the way that they have to do those. But outside of that, there's a lot that goes into that. And that's where it comes in crucial for you guys to actually have a real estate professional that does this every day for a living, that understands what that process looks like and what really is important, what's not important, right? Because if a home buyer tries to go through that journey by themselves, they really get lost along the way. And I would not advise that for anybody. Now, when you're going through that contract with everybody, and there's dates in there that you guys are mandating that the loan officer has to also meet, that is going to be required in that contract that was negotiated between you, the buyer's agent, and the listing agent. Now, how that's going to come into play is going to be like, how many days do you have for financing, right? That means that your loan has to be fully approved within that amount of time, or your earnest money can be at risk. Now, Hannah mentioned early on in this about down payment, having your monies, earnest money. So what you have to understand when you're going through this process is that even if you're doing 100% loan, whether it's a USDA or a VA or one of these creative other programs that may be out there, that doesn't mean that it's 100% that you have no money out of your pocket at all. That is not what that means. You are still going to be required to put up earnest money, which is 1%. In some cases, it could even be more than that.
2 or 3.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's going to require whatever that sales price. The sales price is $400,000. They need $4,000. That inspection, like you said, is going to be $500. It could be $1,000. Right. Yeah. And then when you got through the inspections and you guys have decided if you're going to ask for repairs or not, then you're going to say, Eddie, I need you to order that appraisal. That appraisal is another $500, could be $800, depending on what it is. Right. All of those funds are going to be required up front, whether you're doing 100% loan or not. And a lot of times people don't understand that. They think, well, isn't that covered in my loan? Can I roll those costs into my loan? The answer is no, you cannot. Right.
That's a big no-no. So you want to be able to sit down and say, okay, My down payment could range anywhere from about 3% on the low side up to 5%, FHA, or you can go conventional with the 20% down if you got a little bit more of a nest egg built up. And then on top of that, you're going to need your option appraisal earnest money. Okay. So that you can kind of mark those things out and you've got that cash liquid ready to go. And then the other thing you've got to consider is there might be some repairs that have to be done. And so I think the first house I bought, I had to write a $13,000 check to get the foundation fixed before I could close on my loan.
Well,
So there's lender required
that's it.
repairs too.
There are lender required repairs. When that appraiser comes out there and he flags something, the lender is going to require that those repairs get fixed. And the lender is not going to lend on a faulty foundation, and they're not going to allow you to fix it afterwards. And they're not going to allow you to put that money in escrow and then get it fixed after. They're going to want to see that that foundation has been repaired and that it comes with a lifetime warranty. And they're going to want to review all of that before they grant you that loan. So there's some serious things that go along with that, depending on how that inspection turns out.
I've also had where there was wood rot and some roof shingles missing and some things like that. So the FHA guidelines are a little bit stricter, correct?
Correct.
And so a lot of times we'll send that to you. You'll punt it back to us. We'll get a little, checklist, to-do list. And then the key is understanding how these things can kind of snowball if they're not handled really quickly and addressed fast. And that's something that is hard to understand if you're not in the real estate world, just how critical, if you ask for a document, you need it back immediately. It's not when you get to it.
That's correct. Now, the good thing is when you're working with me, my team of people, they are mandated by me that our borrowers have 24 hours to get us those documents, or they're going to treat them like they're a pit bull. They're going to go after them and they're going to stay on them until they get it for us, because it is required. And time is of the essence, because we're under a deadline, right? So what happens if you don't meet that deadline, Hannah? I mean, the seller doesn't have to extend. They don't have to do that. They may require another $5,000 for them to extend it for a couple of days. There's many things that can happen from that process. So we stay on the borrowers very, very hard in order for us to get the conditions that we need, so we can meet the deadlines that you guys have all agreed upon in that contract.
Right. So don't forget, read your contract before you start shopping.
Wait. One thing before we wrap it up here, okay. I want to cover some major things that we need to make sure that everybody understands. Number one, don't quit your job, okay? Don't go buy a new car. Don't change jobs if at all possible. These are things that you would be amazed at how many people do this, but do not quit your job. So anyway.
Don't get fired either.
Yeah,
okay? Don't just go get fired in the middle of buying a house, or as you start to buy the house, or even if you're through your option period. I made that mistake once. I was like, oh, I'm going to, give them a little notice. We're going to transition.
Doesn't work.
Oh, yes. I was like, Eddie, if anybody should know better, I should know better. Yeah. Okay. So then we had to get a different type of loan that cost me more in interest. Not fun. Okay. Don't quit your job. Any other do's and don'ts?
Nope. I think that's it.
I had a friend that bought $25,000 in furniture the day before closing.
Yep.
Oh, that flagged her loan.
Yeah.
Not smart. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We hope that what we share with you equips you to feel confident in buying a house. Call us if you have any questions.